A year ago, I did something that scared me more than anything else. I deleted every social media app from my phone. And what I learned in those 365 days completely changed how I see my whole life. If you've ever felt like social media was controlling your life, this video is for you. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Isaac, and today I'm sharing my honest breakdown of what happens when you step away from social media for an entire year. So, why did I do this? The truth is, social media became a crutch in my life when I left school, and I spent 2 years trapped in a vicious cycle that I'm embarrassed to admit. After school, when social structure disappeared, social media filled the void. But it wasn't the social media that I grew up with. Chronological posts from friends, everything had shifted to these For You pages designed to never end. I would scroll Instagram Reels for hours. I'd close that up feeling terrible about myself, then immediately open YouTube Shorts. When that made me feel worse, I'd jump between different apps. Now I have to give myself some credit. When TikTok came out, I saw it for exactly what it was, a trap. Something about their algorithm felt dangerous to me, like it would be the final nail in the coffin for my attention span. I'm so grateful I never downloaded it, because if I had, I think I'd have been stuck on there forever like everyone else seems to be. But even without TikTok, I was still trapped. Here's the embarrassing part. I would delete Instagram and YouTube from my phone for a few days, sometimes a week, just to take a break. But I was too scared to fully let go. I'd reinstall them, binge for hours to catch up, then feel so disgusted with myself that I'd delete them again. For 2 whole years, I was stuck in this on and off cycle: delete, reinstall, binge, shame, delete, repeat. Then one day I asked myself a simple question: how does this serve me? How does this make me better? In that moment of brutal honesty, I had no answer. That's when everything clicked. When I finally deleted everything for good, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all of it, the first month was genuinely rough. Nobody talks about how hard it actually is. I had phantom notifications. I'd swear I heard my phone buzz when it hadn't. I'd unlock my phone dozens of times without even thinking. And then my thumb would magically find itself where Instagram used to be. But here's what made this attempt different to all the others. I finally understood what was happening to me. This wasn't just a bad habit. This was my brain going through actual withdrawal from the hits that these apps had trained me to crave. And once I understood that, I could push through it. I suddenly had so much time. But here's what nobody tells you. At first, I had no idea what to do with it. In the beginning, I'll be honest, I wasted loads of it. I'd sit there with my phone, nothing to scroll, just stare at the wall. It was frustrating because I knew I should be doing something useful, but my brain was so used to just consuming content that I'd forgotten how to actually be productive. But then I realized I could use this time for my actual goals, all the stuff I'd been putting off. I started making huge progress in my medical studies. I got back into the gym, my performance at work got so much better. I even started this YouTube channel, which had been on my to-do list forever. And here's something that still blows my mind. I started reading books on my Kindle. The last time I read a book before this was Of Mice and Men in year 9, more than 7 years ago. 7 years? My Kindle was just collecting dust, but now it basically comes everywhere with me. Now I'll be honest, I still can't read for more than half an hour at a time. My focus isn't perfect. But I read a few books a year now, which is pretty good considering where I started. And here's something that really worries me. I've had so many conversations with people my age who tell me stuff like, I feel like my brain got small over COVID, or I feel super foggy, or I'm not sharp, or my brain's fried. I'm 99% certain this is because they spend way too much time on these apps. They trained me to have the attention of a goldfish. Getting that focus back was like discovering a superpower that I forgot I had. My mental health transformed, but not in the ways that I thought. Social media hadn't just been affecting my mood, it'd been rewiring my brain's reward system. When I came to uni, I'd meet people from all walks of life, some very well off, and during the term breaks, they'd post pictures of these crazy holidays that they were going on. The constant comparison made me feel less than, like my life wasn't exciting or cool enough. I remember my mum coming to visit me at uni for the first time, and I showed her this picturesque lake near my house. She absolutely loved it, and in that moment I felt so much joy. Pure joy. What made that moment so special wasn't just being present with my mum, but realizing I wasn't comparing my happiness to anyone else's. I wasn't thinking about whether this lake was as impressive as someone's beach holiday. I was just experiencing the beauty of sharing something I loved with someone I care about. I'd find myself being fully present and concentrated in less stimulating situations. And here's the fun part, I'd actually be happy in them. Sitting in a quiet cafe, walking without a podcast, having conversations without any distractions, these things became enjoyable. I realized that social media had raised my baseline for stimulation so high that normal life felt boring. But without that stimulation, I found satisfaction in simple, peaceful moments. My thoughts became my own. Instead of my mind being constantly influenced by whatever content I was consuming, I could think clearly, form my own opinions, and actually hear my own inner voice. But the biggest change was what giving up social media did to my relationships. This was hard to swallow, but liberating. I lost friends, let me be honest about that. Some people just faded away when I wasn't liking their posts or commenting on their stories. At first, this felt devastating. I thought, am I that forgettable? But then I realized something. They weren't real friendships to begin with. The people you love are the people you see on a regular basis, and no amount of Instagram DMs going back and forth can make up for this. The friends who mattered, they reached out, they called, they made plans, and those relationships became rich because we were actually connecting. But here's what really surprised me. I developed more confidence, especially in social situations. I was able to just go up to people and start conversations, which is something that I couldn't really do before. When I couldn't keep up with people through their posts, I had to be intentional about relationships. I put effort into staying close with the right people. Yes, my social circle got smaller, but the connections got deeper and I gained the confidence to make new ones. And this led to the most incredible feeling. The feeling of freedom. I felt like I'd been carrying weight that I didn't even realize was there. I was free from the pressure to constantly make my life look interesting for other people. I stopped feeling the need to take the perfect picture of my food or the view for people to spend half a second looking at before carrying on scrolling. I could just live. Free from the opinion overload, free from all the constant noise that just circles around your subconscious brain, making it hard to relax. Free from the comparison trap. I stopped measuring my success, happiness, or worth against other people's. My life became about my goals, my values, my happiness. And here's a perfect example of how much my relationship with technology changed. I used to get anxious if my phone wasn't in front of me or near me. Now I can go the entire day without knowing where my phone is. This freedom gave me the space to figure out who I really was and who I wanted to become. Now I want to be fair. This wasn't all positive. There were real challenges and losses. Some med school opportunities slipped by because I wasn't online. Exchanging contacts with new people was awkward. Sometimes I'd just freeze. But as soon as I learned to confidently say, I don't have social media, but you can take my number, it got easier, even if there were tons of questions. I missed a lot of trending moments and inside jokes. Sometimes I felt disconnected from what my friends were talking about. There's a social cost to opting out. But I'm glad I don't know what 6'7" or skibbity means. And I'll admit, sometimes the FOMO was real. I had no idea what the latest memes were, and I felt out of the loop. But even with these challenges, I gained a lot more than I lost. Here's what the simple question, how does this serve me, revealed about my relationship with social media. Social media had become a substitute for the real work of building my dream life. Instead of doing the difficult work of pursuing my goals, I was numbing myself with scrolling. I realized that in those 2 years of on and off usage, I wasn't moving forward in my life. The apps weren't serving me at all. They were serving themselves, using my attention and time as the product that they sell to advertisers. Every hour that I spent scrolling was an hour I wasn't investing into the person I want to become. But when I finally broke free, I realized that the discomfort I was avoiding by scrolling was actually the signal that I needed to grow. The boredom, the loneliness, the uncertainty, these weren't problems that I needed to get rid of. They were triggers to take action. Look, I'm not here to tell everyone to delete their social media forever. It was a very personal decision for me. But if you do feel like you're stuck and it's controlling your life, if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people and feeling worse as a result, If you can't be present in your own life, then maybe it's time for a break. I just want to put it in perspective for you. Just have a look at your grandparents and how they were so much happier than us without all this noise. They had deep friendships, hobbies, careers, raised families, found genuine contentment, all without needing this endless stimulation. Needless to say, the year that I deleted social media was the year that I grew the most in all of my goals and in my personal life. That's not a coincidence. The most surprising part, I didn't miss it as much as I thought I would. What I gained was worth so much more than what I lost. I'm not the same person who deleted those apps a year ago. I'm calmer, more connected to the people that I love, and more focused on myself. So, yes, I don't think I'll ever really go back to the mindless way that I was using social media before. I'm a lot happier without it. If this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about your relationship with social media in the comments. Have you ever taken a break? Are you considering it? What's holding you back? I'm planning on making a follow-up to this video where I share some of the practical methods that I use to break free from social media. If you want to see that, let's hit 10 likes on this video and subscribe with bell notifications on so you know when it's uploaded. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.